What's good, YouTube? You know, this Bodhi YGO, and I know this is a little bit surprisingly shocking for me to return, but I'm gonna tell you a bit of why I have been absent. So, before we get to the deck profile, I just want to tell you about what's going on with me. So, a few stories first. Number one, I've been going through stage of mental depression. And second, things have not yet been going well so far. So now you know why I have not yet been uploading from the past last year. My last upload was DDD, and I was gonna make a pure build, but somehow the the depression hits me so hard into my soul, and currently I've been going through classes of depression, and of course keeping myself positive. Things have been going well, okay ish, but so far it's going well ish, but I've been doing okay so far. So before we get to this deck, I took this different deck profile, and if you guys did notice on the thumbnail, yes, I did took Swordsoul to regionals over on before the new format of the ban list, and of course, the ban list was okay-ish, but it did not go way that was expected. I mean, like, Mindhacker is gone for good, but Kashtira is still going to be in the format and is still be one of the best decks. Now, the one stupid deck I really don't want to be seeing the most is Sky Striker. I literally have PST on those decks, and Konami, what have you done? But it's a new format. Hopefully, of the next couple of months, even though I have not yet been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for quite a long time, but I mean, I have not yet been playing over since Cash was still like tier 0, but let's just like get on with this deck profile. Apologize for the background. It's just like somehow I was on my game console, and of course just trying to play, trying to relax my head, and so on and so on. But so let's just like get started with this deck profile. So, oh yeah, before this, oh yeah, like I said, I did took this deck to regionals, and I got 49th place. I was X3. My losses was Cash. The other one is second Cash, and the other one was Trap Tricks, and of course that Trap Tricks player was Bortle Jr., aka Team Bortle. So if you're watching this, shout outs to you, and of course you played your Trap Tricks pretty well. So enough talk. Let's just like jump into this deck. I know I've been talking a lot, so I'll just like stay quiet. So obviously main deck, main of the monsters, 3 Moye. Obviously 100% needed at 3. Obviously, it's your best normal summon. It's your best other summon as well. Reveal 1 Swordsoul. Reveal any worm monster and get a Swordsoul token. When this card is sent from field to the graveyard, it's a synchro material. Draw 1. Pretty good. Next, 3 Long and Wong. Easier way to get to Baron by discarding 1 Swordsoul or a worm. Easier said than done. Once you summon it, you get a level 4 tuner token, and of course those tuner tokens are normal monsters. So it comes with the power with tiny monsters. And also when Long and Wong is sent from field to the graveyard to synchro material, you get to burn your opponent for 1200 points of damage to the face. This is also good for time, as well. And yeah, sometimes long one helps you win games as well. So in case if you're under time as well. So that's pretty much that one. Next, double tie, 100% needed. It's really good for making boxia. It's if you're going second, if you want to clean out break boards, this is also a really good option. Also, best other normal summon and also best other special summon as well too. And of course, Taya, the other hand, banish one worm or one Swordsoul card from the graveyard, summon a tuner token. Once this card leaves from field to the graveyard, you can send either a worm monster from your deck to grave or Swordsoul. Either that way, whatever what feels comfortable, you got it. Next, Honorary of Swordsoul, triple Incredible Ecclesia. If your opponent has more monsters than you don't, it's a free summon. It's the best way other going second as well. Most of the matches I've been going through, mostly I lost all the dice rolls, but luckily I won a few. I think I did one like 2 or 3 if I remember, but yeah, this is literally best going second. If you open this, you just like get a free body on board. So it's just like one of bait. If you're facing off with the hefty negations, this card is your best option to go for. To go second. Just bait out all the negates, and if you have this in your hand, special this, tribute to special summon either a Fallen Albaz or a Swordsoul monster. You don't want to you don't summon Fallen Albaz. You mostly playing is Swordsoul, so you play either Moye or the Taya. So mostly that's Swordsoul monsters. Plus with the Incredible Ecclesia. Let's go on with the Swordsoul. That's all the Swordsoul monsters. On with the Tiny package. 3 Ashina. This is a must play. 3. 2 Vashuda. Double Adhara. And the 1 Red Boy. The reason why I call him a Red Boy is like this is a red tiny med boy. I was playing the tiny blue boy, but the blue boy does sometimes come up, but I prefer like him better. But if something else comes back over on any other matches that I really don't know of, then probably I would play the tiny blue boy instead. So Tingy's other monsters. So Tingy other monsters. So Ashina, it's a free body if you don't control no monsters on the board, such as every other Tingy monsters. If they have synergized effects, if you don't control no monsters, it's a free body on board. And plus, if you control a non-effect monster, they have a synergized effects to banish themselves as a cost. This one, of course, if you control a non-effect monster, banish this, summon a worm monster from the special summons a tiny monster from the deck, and of course your lockage of worms this following turn. Vashuda just like bounces any other problematic cards that you don't want to face off. Adhara just like recycles one of your worm monsters. And Mopara is just like a bit of a protection if your opponent does control a non-effect monsters, or they're trying to run over the monk or trying to get rid of monk. This sometimes does come up, but you know, it is what it is. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. So that's there is. So it is what it is. I guarantee you. Next, that's all the Tiny package. So let's go with these Swordsoul spells. 3 emergence is your Rhoda as well. But unless if you control a synchro monster, you can search either your worms, so you basically search off your chainies, either way said and done. And also it does come up with a modification level whenever this card is banished. Sometimes I did use the effect I call banish itself whenever I use Taya effect to increase or decrease the level. Yeah, sometimes it does come up, so yeah. Next, One Summit. Best card. Must play it. Must play this at 1. This card always does come up a lot of times, so never get rid of this. If you're a Swordsoul, player, never get rid of this. Never. It's a free monster reborn. But unless if you control a synchro monster, you can target one of your other worms instead. So, if you don't control a synchro monster, you can summon a Swordsoul. That's it. And of course, same thing as emergence, modify levels. Modify level of increase or decrease by 1. Next, double Heavenly Dragon Circle. Always does come up. Either your Moye or your Taya gets impermed. And if you have this, chain this, tribute one of your other your Swordsoul, Moye or Taya. Yeah, activate this, tribute one of your own, so that way you can dodge the imperm or the effect veiler, which of course it does comes up. Or even if your other Swordsoul, Moye or Taya gets ghost ogred, this also does come up as well, so that way you can dodge it as well. It's very nice. And of course, you guys are gonna be scratching your heads that I do play another Swordsoul spell. Is the One Punishment. Now, let me explain you what Swordsoul Punishment does. Obviously, like I said, this card is also a Swordsoul. 1. If you control a synchro monster, you can target one card on the field. Either it's in the field or graveyard, and banish it. And of course, if your opponent Rituals, Synchro, Fusion, Xyz, or Link, if you have a Swordsoul Synchro monster in the graveyard, you can banish one Swordsoul. You can banish a Worm Synchro monster. Add this back into your hand. I never actually play this card. If I did open up this, I would literally use for a discard fodder for the for the Longiwong, which of course that's pretty good. A lot of people, they question, like, is this card really good? And I was like, it's a really good card. Sometimes you really don't want to play this, but if you don't want to play this, then you just cut this off and you can literally play the second copy of Summit instead. But sometimes I really play this, so that's pretty much a big question around the forehead. So I mean, that's pretty much that one instead. Next, the last Swordsoul trap, 1 blackout. It's Regeki Break. Just like destroy any other. You just like target one Swordsoul or a worm. Target the target at first, and then target 2 other cards your opponent controls. Destroy them, and of course, whenever is banished, it just summons a tuner token as well. So. This comes up with all the other tangy monsters in the hand or even the graveyard. So that's all the other Swordsoul cards. Now, I literally 100% disagree to play hand traps. I really don't like playing hand traps in Swordsoul. I really don't. I hated it. but it does sometimes stops your opponent for a turn. So I also did try to play the Apple Dragon package. It's good to make better boards, but you're just like losing the consistency to make to lose powerful boards as well. So I literally 100% cut the 100 Apple Dragon, or whatever that's called. So I decided to go with the standard variant with Swordsoul, and of course, yes, I play hand traps. I really don't like playing this, but it's a must play on hand trap. So for hand trap lineup, I play triple Ash. This card does come up triple Droll, face off against Kastura or any other specific decks that searches a lot. This card comes up a lot of times. Next, Ghost Ogre. I really don't like playing this, but unless if they're playing some other decks that are continuous or monsters, or unless you're playing mirror matches of Swordsoul, this does come up. I never face off against any mirror match, but sometimes this card does comes up a lot of times. But trying to get rid of their main bodies, just leave the tokens on board, just like they can use their tennies, which cards it's whatever. So yep. And last but not least, I play Infinite Impermanence, so I play 12 hand traps into the main. I really do like the way how it is, and the way how my deck performs with the way how my Swordsoul deck does perform. It performs really well. I mean, yeah, it does comes up a lot of times, so yeah. But I'm really proud of myself that I did try the regionals and I got 49th, even though I never get top 48. But at least I improved something to make it better. That's only what matters. As long as I keep improving, that's only what gets you better at the game. So that's all the hand traps. So the other cards as well. So draw cards, Pot of Desires. It's a must need for the deck. I wish this card would go at 3, but it's whatever. Konami just doing their job or whatever. And also to respond over hand traps, Call by the Grave. I mean, we can't call by the Imperm because it's not Imperm. It's not a monster. It's a trap. So it does comes up whenever if I ever get drolled. If I open up this, I'll just like you know what, fuck droll, get out of here. Or if Ghost Ogre does come up, even if I have this, but not having Heavenly Dragon Circle in my hand, sometimes it does come up, and I was like, okay, that's fine, it's whatever. So yeah, that's literally 42 cards in the main. Yeah, 42 counts. I count the ratios and everything. It's literally 42 cards in the main. And yeah. So for the extra deck, those are for tokens for Swordsoul effects. Now, extra deck, finally. Best level 7. Yazi. It's the one. You only play at 1. There's no need to it. You don't play more than just one. You just play 1. It's all you need. Just play 1. Just 1 Yazi. Helps to break boards, especially if you're going second or if you're facing off against mirror matches. That's completely fine, but that's that. It's just like you target itself, target one other card your opponent controls, destroy it, and of course, once this card's effect is destroyed by card effects, summons a war monster from the deck, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. Double box, yeah. Never actually summoned this. Never actually summoned that thing more than once. I usually summon this thing once all the time, but I mean, like, it's whatever. I mean, like, helps to clear boards as well, especially if you use to synchro summon with different attributes. Shuffle 2 cards your opponent controls into the deck, and depending on different attributes that you use to synchro summon of Boxia. Another effect that if you can target one other card you control, or target itself, target one level 4 or below worm monster from the graveyard and special summon it. The shuffle effect is not hard once per turn, but the other effect of Monster Reborn, it is a very hard once per turn. Trying to keep that in mind. So that's all the Yangzing monsters. So Swordsoul, double of Shishao. Obviously, this is a 100% must need. Double. You don't need to play 3. You just play 2. Is what it is. So yeah, when this card is synchro summon, you can add or banish a Swordsoul card from your deck to your hand. And also the other effect, once per turn, you can banish one Swordsoul or one worm monster from the you can banish one Swordsoul or one worm monster from the graveyard. Negate the effect of your opponent. Negate the effect of your opponent's monster effect until the end of the turn. So it's just basically just a monster negate. It doesn't die, so it's just like stays. So that's pretty much that one. One Draco Berserker, really good tech. I summon this most of the time, but a lot of people they did notice how the banishment of a monster effect your opponent controls. Even though they still get the effect, but you know, it's just like I'll just like chain Draco Berserker to banish. So it's nothing special, but it's a really good beat stick. And of course, it's whenever Draco Berserker destroys your opponent's monster by battle, it gains the attack points of the difference and can attack again. So yeah, pretty generic, pretty good 3K beater. So yeah. Next, I try to play Dragite, but I literally 100% really don't like it as much. But if I'm still gonna, if I'm gonna have to save a turn for the game, I literally 100% playing Crimson Blader. Crimson Blader is literally the bee's knees of the deck. This card is absolutely insane. Whenever Crimson Blader destroys your opponent's monster by battle, it triggers the effect that your opponent cannot, and I mean it cannot, special summon level 5 or higher. Your opponent cannot special summon level 5 or higher until the end of their next turn. So, I played this once against a Despia player. I summoned it, and of course I run over to their their small monsters. Once that attack succeeded, I activated the effect. They can't summon any more level 5 or higher monsters, because all their branded fusion monsters, they're all level 5 or higher. So this does save me a turn. And this is like literally 100% the bee's knees in this deck. So I know they don't really like playing. I know Swordsoul players don't like playing this, but I literally love this card. This is 100% need this deck. I'm like 100%. This does save you for the turn, and also good face off against Castura, because this one it does, destroys their Castura monster, and of course once that attack succeeded, they can't summon Unicorn or Fenrir. I mean, they can summon Riceheart, but, they can't summon any level 5 or higher. So, basically, all their Castura monsters are just, like, level 7s. Except for Riceheart. Riceheart's a level 4, and I'm like, sure, you can summon Riceheart, I don't care, but, just get rid of it. Just don't ever summon any level 5 or higher monsters. Just be gone. No way. We don't like. Thank you, Kaishira, for being the top meta, but you have no. We have no other ways to outrun him. No other ways. So that's all the level 8s. One level 9. Xiaofeng. I think that's his name. Yeah, Xiaofeng. I almost said the name wrong, but this card doesn't really come much them up often, but sometimes it does. It's good against Mathmech, because mostly other cards are just like, mostly other monsters are just light, and this is literally an FTK for Mathmech, but I never face up against Mathmech, but if I do, I will literally 100% playing this card, but you know, mostly other monsters are just light monsters, and of course they can't, I mean, like, this is literally an FTK against Mathmech, so they just like literally 100% just scoop with this one, with Xiaofeng. That's all level 9. That's the only one level 9. I was gonna play the Shenshin, but I just realized that if I'm gonna be playing Shenshin, I'm gonna have to find a way in order to protect Shenshin over on anything. Because I did play the Apple Dragon, and of course I did play Chaos Angel. It's really good. I mean, it's really nice. You set up a Macrocosmo. But the only difference is that it's literally not 100% playing. It's not literally not even necessary to play this. But unless you want to play additional level 9, you can just like find a flex spot in order to make at least 15 card for the extra deck. It's whatever you want to, but it is what it is sometimes. So yeah. That's all level 9s. Level 10s, Ami Negate, 1 Baron de Fleur, aka my Selena. My favorite monster, obviously. So, well, I know usually DDD Curse King Siegfried was my favorite, but she's like my second favorite as well. Ami Negate, easier to summon with, of course, with Dinglong, I believe, if I remember correctly. I mean, Long Yewang, my bad. Long Yewang. So easier way to summon easier way to summon a Baron. Go Long Yewang, pitch a Swordsoul or a Worm. Free body on a board. As long as you don't get yourself worm locked, you're 100% Gucci. I mostly summon this to make Nibiru proof over against Kashira. I try to activate. He tries to Nibiru me, and I chain Baron to negate, but he activate Imperm to negate Baron. I was like, you know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. If they have it, they have it. It's just like it's only a matter of luck they had. So it's only 1 Baron. You can play 2, but sometimes the second doesn't really come up that much often. So level 10 Swordsoul Synchros, 1 Sinister, the queen of the deck, extra deck, my bad. So whenever your opponent special summons a monster or activates spell or trap, just like burn. So whenever your opponent activate a spell or a trap, you burn them for 1200. Whenever they activate whenever they special summon a monster, just burn them. So you can just like burn them twice per turn. And that's pretty stupid, but at least it saves you some time as well. And also, whenever you successfully synchro summon a Worm Synchro monster, you can draw additional card, which of course that's completely good. So that way you can try to dig deep to your hand traps or dig deep to either one of your best plays. That's that. Next, the 1 Supreme Saurian. I literally 100% sometimes don't like it, but it's really nice to have a generic bigger beat stick as well. I really do like playing Saurian. Yeah, Supreme Saurian, basically the king of this extra deck. Just like go for, gigantic big beat stick, and yep. And also, it gains 100 attack points and defense points, if I remember, for every card that are banished, including your opponent's. And your opponent loses 100 attack and defense points for every card that are banished. I never usually summon it against Kashtira, but it is what it is. It's a pretty humongous beat stick. It's whatever. That's only 3 level 10s. The other Synchro Monster I did try to play is 1 Psychic and Punisher. I mean, this could be anything. It could be any flex bot you want, but I was playing Psychic and Punisher. So let's just say this: the reason why I play Psychic and Punisher, if your life points are completely low than your opponent's, if you successfully summon this, your opponent's gonna get a hard time to run over this guy, because this guy is literally the beast knees into the deck. I mean, if you don't want to play Psychic and Punisher, this could be anything. This could be Shenshin if you want, but I really do like this card a lot. It does never actually get the chance to summon this guy, but it does come up quite often. But Caster, they always wanted to mess around with this guy, and also Baxia and Baron, and of course Shisha. They just really don't want to see it, and of course I really don't like it, but hey, that's their deck. So yeah, so that's all the Synchro Monsters. On towards the links. Double Monk. I never liked playing at 3, but if it does, I mean, this could be the third. This could be the third Monk, but I just realized I just don't want to cut down the. I just want to cut the playing 2, but I mean 2 is just completely fine. But if it does sometimes come up with the third Monk, you can, but I only play 2 because this is just my own competitive version with Swordsoul. But if you want to play third Monk, you can just replace this, or you can just play Shenshin or any whatever with Flexbot to make for your 15 card extra, because the other 14 cards are 100% important, and the 15 card could be anything. Could be a third Monk, could be Psychic End, or it could be Shenshin, or the Ice Jade Synchro Monster, which course it does come up over my mind, which is pretty nice indeed. Next, 1 Shaman. Sometimes it's seen as to Rebornness, but mostly all the time we just want to discard a card, target 1 War Monster in the grave. It does come up a lot, quite often, so yeah. Okay, so that's 15 card extra deck. And I'll show you guys of my side deck for that event. So my side was 3 Nibiru. If you're forcing to go second, I literally play against Nibiru for any other specific combo decks such as mirror matches, Kashtira, or any specific other combo decks. Literally trying to summon all the time. This is really good against Super Heavy Samurai as well. I did try to side Nibiru's, but never actually did open it that often. Especially if I'm going second, I never had a chance to go for it at all. So never did got a chance. So never did. Next, Triple Ghost Bell. This card does come up a lot of time often against Kashtira unbranded, or whenever they try to go for branded in red, just if you had this, just chain this to negate this. And in Kashtira, they go for Birth. this is a really good against this card. So Ghost Bell is literally 100% really good face off against Cash or mirror matches or branded, which of course they try and go for branded Brandon in red or branded explosion, which of course it does come up quite often. And yeah, that's all the monsters for sighting. Spells, spell trap removal, 1 heart piece, and of course double cyclone. I did face off trap tricks, and of course I completely 100% side those cards in and swap out the other cards I really don't want to see at the most, which of course they're useless against to what's called trap tricks. I was gonna go for the Hey Trunade, which of course it's pretty nice, but I just thought of like, you know what, maybe playing this instead did come up quite often, but never had the chance. But I did open one, but never had the chance to go full combo, especially if I'm going second. Next, double talents. This does come up quite often, a lot of times, whenever you're forcing to go second or going first. Especially if you're going for game 2 or game 3. It doesn't, talents didn't come up quite often, but against Pearly, this is 100% needed to go for. I opened it once, trying to bait out everything, whatever they go for. Does go well quite often, so that's that. Next, double dimension barrier. Good against Cash, good against Branded, good against Pearly, good against any other different match if they're whatever is facing with, especially if they're playing going if I'm going first, either that way, except for Lynx, which of course that's quite a bit unfortunate. And last but not least, the last 2 was double Royal Decree, good against Trap Tricks. I did see this often. Very good. And I do apologize for the low flashlight because my phone is about to go down anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So again, this is like my 49th place of Swordsoul. And of course, I did have fun. Even though I get a little bit anxiety over not getting top 48, but at least I perform better. So anyways, I have enough talking. I know this video is going so long, and I know I've been talking a lot. I've been going through some time, but at least I'm doing okay so far. I am not dead. I am literally 100% alive, but just been going on through some things. So anyways, thank you guys for enjoying this deck profile and of course of my competitive Swordsoul deck. And also the next video that you're about to see is about a really good player. He plays Gold Pride Punk. And if you guys do want to see the original video of it, go to sub to Inspired TCG, which of course they're the main, because that's basically one of their team members. But I do know this one player, he plays Gold Pride Punk, and he plays really well, and I know him. He's really one of my good friends. So if you guys do want to see the Gold Pride, make sure you hit
that sub, and of course ding that notification, that way you don't want to miss it. And this is Bodhi YGO signing out.